So here's what I've been doing. This red wire goes to the cargo light in the cap, up in the back. Not the third brake light, the cargo light. This is always power right here. This is always positive, and it's always on. Or it's always, of course it's always positive, it's always got power going to it. I ran that carefully down, along, inside, like kind of above and over the wheel well, and then along the frame rail. I zip tied it. It's hanging down a little bit, exposed from about there to there-ish. And what I did was I put a sleeve, like this type of deal, over it. Zip tied that, zip tied it up. I had to fish it up behind the fuel tank along the frame rail. And I got it in there, and I zip tied it back here. I took the spare down and I zip tied it up around there. I think I mentioned some of that in my video where I was undercoating. So over here, this wire right here is that wire that I just showed you. So that's coming up over there. I zip tied it to here, and that goes up to the cargo light. That's the positive. So that's that wire right there. Positive, positive, negative, negative. They've looped it over because I'm using it for this, and I'm using it for the third brake light. And that's that. That's negative for the third brake light. That's positive for the third brake light. Over on the end here. So the red wire with the white line, which comes down here. And I use the butt connector to connect it to the module here. And grounded it there, put the other ground for that over here. I'll probably throw a little bit of grease on here. Usually I do that in my battery terminals, and they seem like they last really long compared to if I don't put anything on them. So, you know, last as in they don't get all green and white corroded. This is going to, I don't remember, let me see. Okay, right turn signal, which is over there. So I ran a wire, I already put the tail light on, but to give you an idea, I ran a wire underneath here. I zip tied it to the harness from the factory going along underneath here, and I came up over here with it. And that's where this green wire goes, to that. And the yellow wire goes to the left turn signal, which is over on this side. And they gave me these type of connectors that came with the wire harness. And basically there's a piece of metal. It's not exposed anymore because it has a clip that stuck out, and you actually stuck out on this side, and you just flip it over and pop it into place. But there's a piece of metal, like a metal plate, if you will, a little tiny plate. You push that in, and it bites into both wires, and then you put this over to so it doesn't make any metal to metal contact with anything in there. Same thing that I used on that side. It came with two of them. That was the kit. From this, I got the whole plug, both ends of it. Not these wires, but both ends of this plug, and these wires and the fuses. That was the kit that came in. These I had to. My dad's an electrical engineer, and I grew up working on a bunch of stuff like this. So my dad has a bunch of stuff like these, and these he had. So he just used what he had. This one's different, but it's same deal. You got to make sure. So the wire that I used here, this is 14 gauge. This, I believe, this I want to say was like 20. It's a little bit smaller, but this was for, let me see. Is it that side? I don't know. My dad looked at it. He said, okay, this will work because it's for, or I think it was 18. So 14 and 18. This will work because this, he said, was for, and I don't see anything on there saying that, but maybe he just knew. This is for from 14 gauge to 18 gauge. So they give you a little bit of a variance on what size wire these would be good for. So I crimped that down. Probably not the best way to do it, but it'll work. I'm going to wrap that in electrical tape. I'm going to tie things up a little bit more. I might put a little bit of dielectric grease on there. I'll do that on here. I might try to work some in there, or I'll probably just leave these and just electrical tape them really good. And yeah, I put a shot of that electric grease in the tops of these because the wire just comes to a dead end in here. So I figure when I put this in, it'll be standing up, and there's a chance that water could get down in there a little bit. So better to have it covered with something at least than nothing. And yeah, that's that. I'll tie this up. I'll make this look a little bit better, and that'll be that. So one thing that I did notice that I wasn't expecting, which by the way, the module keeps, if I just try to wire this into the brake light on this side, like you usually can, if you have a separate brake light from a turn signal light, which I don't, mine is all in that one bulb. So that's my reverse light, that's my brake light and turn signal light. What happens is, if I wired it up to that, this third brake light would blink every time I put my left turn signal on, and I just don't like doing things like half-assed like that. So rather than having to do that, it doesn't blink with the left turn signal on. However, it does blink when I put my hazards on. So not only do I have that light and that light blinking, but I also have my third brake light blinking if I put the hazards on. I'll show you real quick. And I wasn't expecting that. I don't know if that's pretty much how that usually is meant to work. I don't believe my third brake light back there would blink when I had my hazards on. But I don't know, there's a plug in the back. I unplugged it because it's not really going to be used anymore, you know. And if I ever take the cap off, I just got to plug it in to make it work. So that's what the hazard's on.